Ride Along. So it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess you call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Ridealong live, yeah, it's the real deal.
Promotion presents Cream. Yes, cream of the crop, the best of the best soca DJs out of Brooklyn and Queens. Come party with the best of the best every other Saturday at 9 p.m. starting from April 2nd through July 23rd at 204 Parkside Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Get your $20 early bird tickets at eventbrite.com. This event will also be streamed live globally. Photographers and videographers will be on site to catch you in your best party mode. Advance tickets, $20. At the door, you pay more. Season 1, Episode 1.
Yes! Welcome to Ride Along Live. Welcome to Tuesday on the Ride. How you guys doing, man? How you guys doing? Welcome. I share. Tamika, I see you. As you come in, just share up the thing and say, I share. Rona Marshall, how you doing? Lydia Alexander. Everybody share, guys. Everybody share. Share. If you share once, share twice. Because today, we are going to talk about embracing your beauty, embracing your scars, embracing you as a person. And no, this guest is the perfect guest to talk about this, the absolute perfect guest. Because what this lady been through, you wouldn't imagine that someone would actually come out of it. And she is embracing everything about the situation. She been through hell. If she been through the worst. She been through absolutely the worst. I'm not going to preempt her story, but it is a story of triumph. She is a strong, powerful woman embracing everything. And what happened to her, you would be surprised and amazed that she made it through it. She's alive and she's here to share her story. It's certainly an amazing program. Everybody share the program. Share it right now. Everybody share the program right now. Yes, Lydia Alexander, how you doing? Yes. Chris Childs, big up yourself. Colleen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me share it as well, guys, because it's important. Let me show you guys a quick image, right? Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. This is a picture of my guest after she was ran over by a car, a vehicle, and she was dragged. Yeah. It looks pretty bad, right? This is her today. This is her now, and she's ready to share her story. Ebony, welcome to the ride. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Let me tell you something, Ebony. I just love the smile. A smile that lights up an entire room, I tell you.
Thank you.
Yes, Ebony. And listen, I have to say, thanks for taking the time, because my producer, Lois JJ, she's the hardest working person in this business. I'm telling you, we've been tracking you for a while because we've been following your story. Mm-hmm. And with the strength that you exhibited and just everything that you've been through, we thought that it was very, very important, essential to come and share it with us and chat with us here. So again, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. All right. We're going to go straight into it because it's all about you. And I just want to hear your story. I just so interested in hearing what happened and how you were able to emerge over all this crisis. Start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and just the basic stuff. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Ebony Canyon. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I am currently 44 years old. I have 4 children. One is in heaven, beautiful angel. One is in heaven. I am a survivor. I am an author. I call myself an encourager.
Yes.
And I'm blessed. I am blessed.
Yes. You absolutely are. Ebony, let's start with that day. Let's start with the day before that day in June, right? That day before. What was your regular daily activity like? Like what's your life? What was your life like?
Well, my life at the time, I'm a single mom, a widow. My husband actually was killed in 2000 in a car accident. So I was a widow with 4 children, single mother, widow, 4 children, raising my children, just trying to make ends meet, doing the best I can as a mom, I have 3 boys and a daughter. So just trying to make sure I keep my children out of the street. The day before, we were just having family time as usual, family time, me and my children. They had just lost their uncle. So, we were just, kind of getting together, trying to grieve him. And we would, it was just a regular day for me.
Right. Just a regular day. Just everything happening, regular thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
What about the morning of that particular day? That morning, and let's go into what actually happened that changed your life forever.
Well, that morning, I told my birthday is July 3rd. This incident happened on June 30th. So it's my birthday weekend. I wanted to go out and have some fun. And I told my daughter, that I was going to go out. And my daughter actually told me, Mom, don't go out, and I was kind of like, well, it's my birthday weekend. I'm going to go ahead and go out. So I decided to go out. Mind you, in the inside of me, something was like, Ebony, maybe you shouldn't go out. Your daughter said don't go out. You know how you have that gut feeling. So I always tell people, follow that gut feeling, follow that instinct. If it doesn't feel right, most likely it's not right. But I decided to go ahead and go out and enjoy myself because I felt as if, I deserved it. I ended up going out with my sister and 2 of my cousins. We went out, we enjoyed ourselves. It was a beautiful night. We had a great time. We ended up going to a couple places that night. But after everything was over with, it was maybe about 2:30 in the morning. We ended up going back to my sister's house. We're proceeding down the street to my sister's house, and there's a car in the driveway. It's late, so we weren't expecting anybody at this time. So we began to blow the horn, try to figure out who was in the driveway. The car would not leave the driveway. So my grandmother just so happens to live a couple doors down. So we ended up having to park in her driveway and walk down the street to my sister's house. Now, while we're walking down there, here goes that thing again in my head. Oh, something's not right, Ebony. Something's not right. So always, please pay attention to your instincts, guys. It's pay attention. Your gut feeling is most of the time it isn't wrong. So we get down to the car, and my sister realizes that she knows one of the females because we find out it's 5 females in the car. She realizes that she has 5.
Looking at this car parked in the driveway there, were there anything particularly suspicious about that car being there at that time?
Yeah, because, we weren't expecting anybody. It was 4 of us and nobody had called anybody over, this time. It's pretty late, so, who is this in the driveway? And once we get there, my sister looks in and she sees that it's a female that she had gotten into an altercation with prior to that night. They share the same, their children share the same father. So it's, another baby mother of her, So she looks in and she sees it's her. So words are exchanged, of course my sister's mad. It's 2:00 in the morning. You're sitting in my driveway. You refuse to get out of my driveway. I have to park down the street. And then I get down here and she sees who it is. So words are exchanged, and she's telling, get out of my driveway. So they finally, after words were exchanged, they finally back out of the driveway, but they don't leave. We're thinking they're leaving. They don't leave. They ended up backing into a driveway directly across the street from my sister's house. They proceed to get out of the car. And I'm feeling, it's my birthday weekend. I'm all my children have, so I'm just trying to keep the peace. And I'm like, everybody just go home. It's not even worth it. And while I'm talking, one of the females decides that she wants to fight. So she struck me And I defended myself, of course. I fought back, and a fight pursued amongst all of us. There were 5 of them and 3 of us at the time. And the fight was broken up. My nephew came out of the house and he broke up the fight. And they get in their car. We're thinking, once again, it's over with. And I'm standing directly across the street, from the car. And they get in their car. I see the headlights come on. I hear the car start up. Of course, like I said, I'm thinking they're leaving. They had the option of either going, to the right or to the left. And they came straight ahead and they ended up hitting me. After they hit me, it went so fast. My family didn't really know where I was at.
Did you observe that they was driving towards you?
I saw them coming, so I'm thinking they're going to turn. I'm thinking they're going to turn the car and go, but they didn't. I didn't have enough time to get out the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to get out the way. My cousin was actually standing beside me, and she was able to jump to the side. I didn't have enough time.
So there you are, caught like a deer in a headlight, car coming straight to you, and you standing there. Mm-hmm. They didn't swing away. They ran straight into you.
They ran straight into me. And like I said, it happened so fast. Of course, my family's telling me at this time, they're trying to find out where everybody is at. And where's Ebony at? Where's Ebony? And they look up and they see the car. It's like smoking, and they see a blood trail going down the street. And they figure Ebony is up under that car.
So it wasn't like they hit you and stop. It wasn't an impact and you bounce away. They hit you and they dragged you
all the way down the street and turned the corner. Once they turned the corner, my body was released from up under the car.
Wow.
Yes, I was up under the car the entire time being dragged down the street.
Wow.
Yeah. And my family told me that they were banging on the car, telling them to stop because the car was barely going because my body was, stopping, the car from being able to go fast. And they said they were banging on the trunk, telling them, stop. But once they finally turned that corner, my lifeless body came from up under the car. Yeah. And my cousin told me that, they were shocked. They said my legs were bent in awkward positions. I had a big hole in the side of this side and the side of my face. They said it was blood just everywhere. And my cousin told me that, she told me, hang in there. They were calling 911. She was telling me to hang in there and to fight for my children. And she told me that I looked up and gave her a little smile and squeezed her hand. And from there, I ended up in the hospital for.
What was the last thing that you remembered from that? Was it that you standing there and the car came straight towards you? That was it.
That was the last. I don't remember being under the car or anything. Thank God, because I definitely would have wanted to remember that. So thank God I didn't remember that. But the very last thing I remember was seeing the car coming my way. But once I woke up in the hospital, I don't remember anything. Because I was in a coma for 2 months and I was in hospital for 4 months. But once I woke up out of the coma, I didn't remember anything. And my family had told me I was in a car accident. And once time started going by, things were flashing back. And I started to tell them like, well, wait a minute. I remember this happening. I remember that happening. And they finally said, we have to tell her. They didn't want to get me worried because I was in, that condition. So they didn't want to get me riled up and worried. But they finally realized we have to tell her, that she's right and she knows what happened.
So for those of you who just joined in, we're talking here with Ebony, and Ebony sharing her story of this very tragic incident. It was a willful act. It wasn't a random accident, car just strike her. No, it was actually meant. They actually aimed at her, rammed the car into her. And not only did they ram the car into her, they dragged her. She was dragged down the street. So you could imagine someone, probably you can't imagine. I saw some of the pictures. I'm not going to show all of those pictures, but it is, just imagine, she's on her back dragging down the street. So I could imagine patches of just skin, back of your head. Everything was just grayed out from that pressure against the road.
Yes, I suffered several injuries. I ended up having, it's so many injuries, I have to really look at my body. Like I said, I had a hole inside of my face that needed reconstruction surgery. My tongue was nearly severed. I had 4 missing teeth. fractured shoulder, fractured jaw. My spine was dislocated. I had a broken pelvis, broken leg, 8 broken ribs, bleeding on my brain. My entire back was burned off from being dragged under the car. I had a lot of injuries, but I'm here. When I first woke up out of the coma, I actually couldn't feel from my neck down. But you see now I'm
Yeah,
I'm moving
and that
and I'm blessed.
that is miraculous. I tell you that. That is
Yeah.
miraculous. I want to talk about that. Let me show you guys quickly what the aftermath of this looked like. That's in the hospital. That's Ebony in the hospital after that ordeal. Ebony, how long after was this picture taken?
That picture was taken when I was in a coma. That picture was taken, I think, probably about 3 days afterwards. That was when I was in a coma. My cousin, he decided for some reason, that he wanted to take the picture. Well, you know what? He told me why. He told me that he wanted me to see how far I had came because he knew that I was going to make it. The doctors were telling him that I wasn't going to make it. And he said, I'm going to take this picture so when she wakes up, she'll see how far she came and she'll be grateful. The picture did exactly what it was supposed to do. It did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yes. It was 8 broken ribs, broken leg, pelvis broken. So now you're thinking now, well, when you woke up from this thing now, recovery, and you couldn't feel from your neck down, you thinking what? The worst. What's going through your mind at that point?
Oh my gosh. Like I said, I am a widow and was a widow at the time. So I'm thinking of my children. I wasn't even thinking of myself. I'm thinking I cooked for them. I made sure they, there was a roof over their head. How am I going to work? What are my children's friends going to, because I'm scarred literally from head to toe. So I'm thinking, what are my children's friends going to think? I can't walk. What type of mother am I, going to be? This is what was going through my head. But after a couple months of therapy, I ended up regaining feeling from my waist down. Right now, I don't have full feeling in my feet. I have something called foot drop, which I wear leg braces, and I walk with the cane. But I'm walking. There was a period where I couldn't walk.
You make it seem so quick and easy. It was just that. No, it wasn't. I don't think that it was so easy, Ebony.
It was.
I could imagine the therapy, the endless days and nights of therapy, and you pushing yourself and your kids behind you, and you just have that motivation to want to walk again.
There was actually times where I didn't even want to go to therapy. I was so down and out. I didn't even want to go to therapy. They would come in, Miss Ebony, it's time to go to therapy. And I would later, no, I didn't want to go to therapy. And I even lost my grandmother when I was in the hospital. So it was so much going on. I didn't even want to even recover. There was a point where I didn't even want to recover. I'm like, this is what it is. This is going to be my life. We're going to leave it at that. There was definitely a point. But then I had to remember, I had to find my why, my reason why. Everybody, you have to have a reason why. My reason why was my children. And I knew they needed me. And I knew I was being selfish. I was stuck in this moment and throwing myself a pity party. And, it's so terrible. And I had to shake it off. Like, you got to get this together. It's bigger than you. At the time, I had no idea it would be survival story, but I knew something in me was like, this is bigger than you. You got to get it together. You have to fight. You can't just lay down here and just wither away.
Yeah. Did the doctors told you that you won't be able to walk again?
They told my mom, my family, when I was in a coma, that most likely she won't be able to walk again. She may even be in a vegetative state. They had no idea, but my mom, they were like, well, we're going to hang in there, see what happened. So, when I woke up, my doctor, you're a miracle. They were telling me that I was a miracle. So, yeah.
It's a strong, let me tell you something. Already, you really captivated the minds of a lot, because that strength, a lot of people sometimes give up because they feel like, look at me. Look, like they get depressed. And I'm sure you went through times where you was very depressed. Mm-hmm. And that depression, how did you handle the depression of all of that stress and trauma?
Well, at first it overwhelmed me. I was drowning in it. I was really, really, really drowning in it. I let myself be taken by all the depression. It took a lot of seeing my children's faces. I actually had to see them. They weren't really allowed to come see me because I had an infection. Because of all the debris from the car had got into my lungs and into my bloodstream. So I had a really bad infection. So they couldn't even, come see me for a while. But it took for me to finally see their faces and realize, this is your fight. This is what you need to fight for. It took a lot of prayer. I began to pray a whole lot. It took for me to just realize, like I said, it's not about only me. I had to get up and fight. You got to get up and fight.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about now the recovery process, which you said it was just recovery, which I know it was much difficult because going through this, I could imagine is like a baby learning to walk again.
Yeah.
I could imagine, people take it for granted, people take that being able to walk from here to there, just get up and move and use their hand to eat. People say, that happens. I just do it. But for you, it was different. You had to learn these things again.
I took it for granted myself. I took a lot of things for granted. I did not realize it until I got in that situation. During recovery, I had to wear, a diaper and everything because I couldn't control my bowels at the time. Thank God it came back. Everything came back, the sensation, everything. But at the time, I had to wear diapers, and I had to have a grown woman, change me. And that right there, that'll mess with your self-esteem, your everything as a woman, So there were definitely obstacles and mountains that I had to climb in my recovery. But like I said, thank God I made it. Learning to stand the first time. It was a miracle and it was a blessing. My therapist actually stood up with me and he told me to pretend I was at prom, and he actually held me and we kind of danced around the room a little bit, so it was quite a recovery. But like I said, I made it. I went from being in a wheelchair to being in a walker to walking with a quad cane to walking with a regular cane.
Right. The first step. I want to talk about that first step. You got up out of that bed. That sensation probably wasn't there as much as how it used to be, and you put your foot on the ground for the very first time. Explain to us that feeling and that thing that you once take for granted, just being able to just go to the kitchen, go to the bar, just go.
It was a feeling of gratefulness. It was a feeling of gratefulness because I had been in the bed probably for about a month.
Wow.
I couldn't do anything. Yeah, I had been in bed probably for about a month, and I couldn't, I could awoke. That is, because I was in hospital for 4 months, but I was, in a coma for 2. But woke, I was in the bed for about a month, and to be able to stand, it was just a feeling of gratefulness. And I thought about all the things, that I took for granted. Even to this day, like I see people, I see my daughter, for instance, I'll see her stub her toe, and she'll ow, and I can't feel my feet, and she doesn't realize how much of a blessing. You might not look at it that way, but to be able to feel the pain of stubbing your toe, if that makes any kind of sense, it's a blessing because you have sensation in your feet. I don't have that. So I've learned to count my blessings. I've learned to count every single thing is a blessing to me. Like you said, being able to get up and go to the kitchen to cook, being able to walk around, being able to use the bathroom on your own. Some people might think, it might be a touchy subject, but some people I think that it's even to be able to use the bathroom on your own is such a blessing. It's really a blessing. And I realized that once I was able to do that again myself.
Yeah. Just recap really quickly, guys. We're talking here with Ebony. Ebony had a very traumatic experience, a very, very traumatic experience where she was run over and dragged by a car. Someone willfully did it to her. It wasn't an accident. They did it, right? Let me tell you, in most cases, you see situation like that, it doesn't turn out where the person is sitting here on Ridealong telling their story. We're somewhere else praying and crying around, that thing, what they call, right? But she's not doing that. She survived because she was strong and she wanted to survive and stay alive for her children. That was her strength. That was a reason to be. And she's here sharing her strength and her story with us. We're on the part where we're talking about the recovery after she was in a coma for a number of days. She started to recover and started transform and try to walk again, the whole process of walking again, which a lot of people take for granted. Tell us one of the other things that you went through at this point in time and you once take for granted. Besides the walking, because we know that you went through that. Simple thing, small thing, or one small thing that you observe that you will never take for granted again.
I have to say, clear skin, not having a scar on your body, even that. Like I said, I'm scarred from head to toe. As women, We looking at me. I remember when I used to get a pimple on my face and I have a fit. Oh my goodness, I can't go to this event because I have a pimple on my face. So here I am now, literally, scarred, literally from head to toe. So it was like, okay, you took that for granted, Ebony. Now you got to realize you have to live a whole nother life. You have to embrace these scars. You have to realize that even though you have those scars, you are still beautiful, because let me rewind a little bit. They kept my phone from me in the hospital. I used to feel on my face and I was like, well, what is this? A cold sore? I had no idea, what this was on my face. And my nurse would tell me, she would put cold sore cream on my face. And it's just a cold sore. You're fine. And I finally got my phone back from my family and I reversed the camera and I looked at myself and I couldn't believe, what I had saw. Here I am complaining about this pimple. Now I literally have, scars under my eye, on my forehead, down the side of my face. Here I am. Are you still beautiful? No, I question myself being beautiful. I question my self-worth. I question my womanhood. What type of man is going to want a woman who's scarred from head to toe? Men are visual people. So it's like, nobody's going to want you. As time went by, I began to accept it. I began to say, you know what? Forget who wouldn't want you. That's not the man for you. Somebody's going to love those battle scars because those scars are proof that God heals, for one, and they're proof of a war that you won, a battle that you won. So you wear those scars proudly and you hold your head high. So I began to, to hold my head high and embrace my beauty. I'm a different kind of beauty, but I'm still beautiful.
Embrace your beauty. Embrace your scars. And I think the major takeaway after it's said and done here for today, I think that should be the takeaway. Because as you rightfully said, some people, they don't even go outside if they're not wearing makeup, or their whole day is completely changed if they have a pimple or they have a little something on their face. Oh my God, they're going to hell. But your whole body is scarred, and you had to come to the realization that life goes on. At least I'm alive. I'm here. And that is the takeaway: embracing your scars and embracing your beauty. This probably should be something that you could put in a book.
It's in there.
We will get to that. We definitely will get to that. But it was difficult. I could still assume that the suicidal thoughts, did it ever come back, and does it plague you? Did it plague you at that time still?
Absolutely. It absolutely came across my mind. Once I first came home from the hospital, there was so much going on, whether the lights were cut off, there was just so much going on in my home. I had been in the hospital, for so long. So our lights had ended up getting disconnected. There was so much going on. And a friend of mine had a gun and it was sitting on the dresser, and I looked at it and I was like, go ahead and end it all. That thought crossed my mind. And then of course something overpowered and said, end it all. You've been saved. Why are you going to end it all? You've been saved for a reason. Why are you going to go ahead and end this purpose for yourself? You know what I'm saying? There's a purpose. You've been saved for a reason. You're going to take yourself out of here after you've been saved. So thank God those thoughts got out of my mind. But of course, suicidal thoughts definitely crossed my mind. Then with the court proceedings, because they did end up catching, I see a lot of questions. They did end up catching the people who did it.
Yes.
They didn't charge everybody who was in the car. They ended up charging one female. The female I'm in Ohio. She ended up fleeing to Florida. They ended up having to go to Florida, bring her back to Ohio for her to face charges. They ended up charging her with aggravated vehicular assault. The court proceedings, she was just as nasty as could be. Like I couldn't believe that someone was just so, nasty and didn't have any remorse. Even seeing, okay, maybe you didn't have remorse at all, but after seeing what you've done, seeing somebody in a wheelchair, seeing their children around them, to still not have any remorse, I didn't understand it. But once sentencing began, I felt as if she was going to get jail time, but they ended up actually giving the female 5 years probation.
Wow.
And then with that, they ended up letting her take the probation and transfer it back to Florida, where she fled from. So,
Oh,
I was crying. I was crying like crazy. And my oldest son, he kneeled down because I was in a wheelchair at the time. He kneeled down. He said, Mom, don't we believe in God? I said, yeah. He said, well, what are you crying for? Let God handle this. And from that point on, I took every bit of anger, bitterness, and I used it to fight to walk again.
yeah. But I'm surprised. Vehicular, what was it? Vehicular what?
Aggravated vehicular assault.
Aggravated vehicular assault. And the person who did this, they wasn't remorseful. They didn't feel like they did anything wrong or bad. Never
When it came
apologize.
time for her, well, she did. When it came time for her to apologize and, give a word, to the victim, she turned around with the nastiest attitude and said, I apologize. And I was like,
What?
wow. I couldn't believe it.
That's no damn apology. That's not a
Yes.
no apology.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Like, where's the human in this person? You know what I mean? Maybe you were drunk or whatever excuse I could possibly try to give you, whatever the situation was, you still don't even have an ounce of remorse, so I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, but I did forgive her, and I forgave her for myself. I did not forgive her for her. I forgave her for myself because she's moved on with her life. She's moving on. She's doing what she's doing. And I'm going to walk around with the bitterness and the burden on top of myself, weighing myself down. No, I couldn't do that. So I forgave her for myself. I needed to get the weight off my own shoulder. I needed to move on with my own life, to focus on my fight versus to focus on what happened to me. So I have forgiven her.
I know we have someone who just joined. I just saw her. Her name is Charlotte Nurse, and Charlotte Nurse. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I did an interview with Charlotte Nurse because Charlotte Nurse was in a vehicular accident. Not similar. It wasn't something that was set up like that. It was I believe, a van that went a ride and took her down. And her son, she was in the stroller with her child, and luckily, her child didn't get any kind of injuries. Charlotte ended up losing her leg. And Charlotte, she's on the live right now. So I just want to say hi to Charlotte because I know by she even watching this story, she could connect with the pain that you go through during the whole recovery process. Because regardless of what happened, these scars would always be there. Charlotte would always have one leg and you would always have those scars. So it's all about embracing that. And that, I'd say that's the major takeaway. People understanding that they need to embrace the reality of today.
Yes.
So just want to send big shout out to Charlotte Nurse, fan and family of the Ride Along here. Guys, if you just joined us, we were talking here with Ebony, and she's sharing her story. Ebony, I want to talk about other things that happen because it seems like a lot was happening in your life. You mentioned your son. Let's talk about your son because you had to deal with something that was very traumatic as well shortly after. What happened?
Yeah, this happened in 2012 as far as with myself. In 2018, I'm at home and I received a text message in my phone and his son has been shot. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, my son is supposed to be at, a birthday party with my brother because it was my brother's birthday. So I'm like, there's no way that I'm receiving a text message saying that he's been shot and it's not coming from my brother, because that's who he was with. So I go downstairs and I tell my children, like, I received a text message, like, who could this be? So we called a number back and they say, indeed, your son has been shot. You need to get to the hospital. So, we get in the car and we go to the hospital. I'm praying the whole entire way. We get to the hospital. We're sitting there and they saying that, your son got shot in the shoulder. So we're sitting there, I'm just praying, hoping everything is okay. So they call me to the back and I go to the back and I'm thinking I'm going to go see him, and they take me in a room and they sit me down and they say, your son didn't make it. And I'm in complete shock. I have a heart condition from being run over. I have a bad heart. So I'm in complete shock, getting ready to basically pass out. And I have to go back out to the waiting room and deliver the news, to my family that my son didn't make it. He was shot. The thing is, he was defending his child's mother. He was defending his child's mother. And with him, a fight broke out. Here's another situation where a fight broke out and he didn't make it out. he didn't make it out.
And at that point in time, you were still dealing with the recovery process. And this other tragedy came up again. So you were dealing with multiple things.
Yes.
And then your daughter.
Then a year later, my daughter, she goes in for minor surgery to get her gallbladder removed. She's doing fine the day that she comes out of surgery. The very next day, she begins to spike a temperature. They're trying to find out what's going on with her. And she became septic. So she ended up going to ICU. Septic is when all your organs begin to fail, things like that. So she goes to ICU and her breathing goes down, and they try to give her a breathing tube. And as they're giving her the breathing tube, she vomits and it goes back into her lungs, what's called as her lungs to fail. Then she ends up on ECMO for her lungs, which is another form of life support. She's on ECMO maybe for about 2 weeks. She's on the life support. She ended up having to learn how to walk again. She ended up learning how to have to talk again. She went through the exact same thing, to eat again, the exact same thing that I went through. Now, this is just a year later. And don't forget, I lost my husband in 2000 in a car accident. So this is trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. And
Wow.
There was a second, I was mad at God because I didn't understand, like, come on, God, I've been through enough. Like, what else are you going to put on me? But I realized I can't be mad at somebody I need. I need him. I can't be mad at, so I've been struggling trying to figure out, what do you do with your story? Who do you try to reach? Who do you try to, help? And God just said, just go with the flow, just tell it and it'll reach who it needs to reach. And this is where I'm at now. This is where I'm at now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the phone line. We got a phone line. We got a caller on the line. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi.
Hi, caller.
I'm calling from New York.
New York, go right ahead.
I'm calling because I have no one to reach out to right now. And I'm calling because my mom is in Grenada. This morning after 10, I got a phone call from the caregiver telling me.
Hold on, caller. Before you go on. Hold on, caller. Before you go on, we're live right now. Okay, we're live. Is that a story you want to share?
I know that. Yes, I know. I'm outside.
Okay.
And I'm just walking home from work, and I'm very emotional right now because the caregiver called me from Grenada. I don't know if the lady is listening. I just want it out there. She said, your mom is not speaking properly. When she talks, she's fumbling the word. I said, that's not my stroke. I said, take her right now to the health center. That's right in the lines. When she took her to the health center, the doctor looked at her home and said that, this is the age now. Darling, an old age now. Just take her home. I give her some less pills.
Okay, caller. Hold on one second. We're not hearing you too clearly.
I'll take it out. You hear me properly now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you a little bit better now. What you said happened?
I'm on the street. The caregiver took my mom to the health center in Grandis, right there in the lines. And when she took her to the health center, there is two nurses. One of the nurses, so we take her straight in to see the doctor. The other nurse said, no, leave her there, let she wait her turn. And my mom had a mild stroke. When she gets to the doctor now, doctor took her to the hospital. The doctor said that, granny in the age now. And you should expect that.
Okay, caller. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I want to address your issue. I want to give your issue some attention, but we can't hear you too clearly. So let us do this. Let us do this. Right after the program, let's communicate and let's take on your case as an individual case. I'll be able to give you better assistance one-on-one.
Before I go, I don't know if you know anybody in Grenada, no doctors, to send them to the hospital. There's no doctor in the hospital from 10 after 2. My mother don't see a doctor yet, and she can't talk now. She's not talking anymore. And she's not drinking anymore, so she can't the stroke get worse.
Okay, tell you what, I'm gonna have someone on our support group call you right now. So they'll be able to get some information directly from you, okay? Because we can hear you too clearly, and I want to give your story some attention. I'll forward your number to someone in the support group so they could call you off here, all right?
I'm going down to the underground, maybe might get better service.
No. Let us call you. Let us call you back off here. I have someone call you right now, and they'll communicate with you. All right.
Okay.
All right. I got your number. Yeah. All right. So this is something that we're gonna work on. I'll forward the number over to our production crew there, so they could give you a call. I almost forgot where we were. Because this young lady seemed like she have a situation that need some immediate attention. She seemed like she's very frustrated about the situation. Yeah. And,
yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't
God
want
bless
to
your
get
heart
out of
for
her
doing
story. Yeah.
that. It's okay. We were talking about my situation with my daughter and the things I had been through afterwards. My daughter, my husband, and my son. That's what we were at.
Right. Okay. Yes. A lot of stuff happening. You have to be thinking, what is going on here? Like everything is just going up against me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you come out of something like that? How do you focus when there's so much happening?
Yeah, it's been feeling like an attack. Like someone said, the devil's after you and your family. It's been health issue after health issue, death after death, trauma after trauma after trauma. So it's been a struggle. I have my days. Don't get me wrong. Of course, when you go through something like that, you go through trauma with yourself, trauma with your children, trauma with your spouse. There's things and there's days that, I have to sit there and like, okay, Evan, you have to coach myself out of bed. I'm human, but I make it through. Like I said, I look at my reasons why. You always have to have a reason why. You have to have a reason to push. You have to have some type of push behind you, and prayer has taken me a long way. I know one thing for sure, without God, there's no way I would be sitting here talking to you. There's no way I would be able to even to have a smile on my face, But like I said, I know it's bigger than me. There's my story and my victories and my pain, and it's not in vain. It's beyond me. There's somebody who's going through something right now who may be at home, thinking about giving up, and hopefully they'll see my story and say, you know what, that one lady with the cane and the scars on her face, she pushed through, so should I. So you have to think of the bigger picture. You can't just live in a moment. It's going to rain, of course. The sun is eventually going to shine, and I truly believe that in my heart that, you've been through all this, Ebony. God has one huge blessing with your name on it. And when it comes, it's going to rain down on you and pour onto everyone around you. So, I'm just focused on the bigger picture, the bigger picture. Like I said, I have my days. Of course, losing a child is something that, it's a feeling that you can't even explain, But, I have to keep pushing because I know for a fact he will want me to. My children, they actually helped me learn how to walk again because my insurance was canceled because they figured that I had plateaued and I wasn't going to do anything more. But my children said, no, ma'am, we're going to keep on walking. So, my children actually taught me how to walk again. So I have to keep that in mind. Like these children fought for you to keep pushing. Now you have to keep pushing, for them.
Yeah. Powerful. Powerful. So here's some takeaways I want everyone to probably write down. This embracing your beauty, embracing your scars, never give up. Have a purpose. Live for a purpose, a specific purpose, and your purpose was your children. And besides the fact that you do have the scars and you went through you have moments where it's scars, but it doesn't consume your life. And you don't take anything for granted. Oftentimes, people have so much minor issues or minor things that happen in their life and they consume them. That is take up their whole mind and body and soul. But it's so small compared to the bigger problems that's happening. And in your case, you would think that you would never be able to smile, but you're coming here with the brightest smile. It's so amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How have you used your story to advocate and to teach and help others?
So here's the thing. Some people, they don't have visual scars. I have my visual scars, but I also have internal scars. And that's what most people's scars are. They're in the inside. So many people are scarred in the inside from what life has done to them. So I had to, take that along with my outside scars, and let people know that even those inside scars, they heal. They heal. There's a way for them to heal. I'm getting ready to get in therapy myself, just because I need the extra. It's, for some reason, people think that therapy is a form of weakness, when in all actuality, it's not at all. It takes a strong person to realize maybe I need to talk to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But I took my story and I put it in a book titled Left for Dead. It tells my whole entire life, because even with the story that I've told you all, there's things that have happened in my childhood as far as rape, molestation, things like that that's happened in my childhood. So I've taken my story and I've put it in the book, and I've been able to travel and speak, to different people and hug on people. Sometimes people just need a hug, So I've been able to travel and hug on people and, just to motivate people and to just inspire people that where you're at now, it's not where you have to stay at all. It's up to you. It's up to you to go ahead and pick yourself up and keep on pushing.
Yeah. If overcoming was a person, that would be you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
that would be you. You overcame so much. And your book, is it out? Is it available?
Yes.
Oh, wow. There we go.
It's titled Left for Dead. It's available. I have my website on all my pages, on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page. You can purchase it from there. I also have some merchandise. I decided to put sayings on t-shirts, just because, the first thing you see when you see somebody in it is their shirt, so I decided to put some things on the shirt, as far as loving yourself, as far as God and things like that. So everything can be purchased from our website.
Yeah. And I always encourage that. I try to don't wear any brand unless it has some kind of meaning.
Yeah.
Unless it has some kind of meaning, or unless I could endorse it. So I'd love to wear some of your brand here on the program.
I gotta get you some.
Absolutely. Because it's all about when someone looking in, just something you see on your shirt, hustle hard, work hard. This could inspire their whole day.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is what it's all about right here. Just helping people. A global outreach for help. And happy that you're using your story to help people, to empower people, to strengthen people. We're going to open up the phone lines for a few more calls. We're going to end a little bit early today, guys. We're a little bit early today because I have a flight to catch. Right after the program, I have to run straight to the airport. And you guys don't want me to miss the flight. So we're going to end a little bit early today. So we're going to open up the phone lines to take a few calls. The number that you call in, 718-701-5720. Charlotte wants to know what's the website where she could purchase the book.
The website is survivalstorytees.bigcartel.com. I'll spell it out to you. That's survivalstorytees.bigcartel.com.
Right.
It's in my bio.
If you missed it, we're going to put it in the description, a direct link that you guys could just click on and go straight to the book and support the book. Left for Dead is an encouraging, empowering book of overcoming all these different obstacles that one may have in their life. And Ebony is the epitome, the representation, personification of that. That's Ebony right there. Ebony with a big smile.
Thank you.
717-015-720, guys. We thank you, Ebony, for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's an
Anytime.
honor.
We are family now, Ebony. This is a family affair now. There are people that might call on to us and say, well, I am done. Like this young lady that called earlier, I just sent her number to our support group, so someone is speaking to her right now.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who just need someone to speak to at a given time, at a point in time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a situation where someone might just need, they've been through something like you, and they're at the pillar, they're just at the pole, they're ready to jump off, and we just need to talk. Oftentimes we might call on you to lend some of your help and assistance. And we appreciate it. Right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So you put let me, Kobe, could you copy? I got it, Kobe. I pasted it in. Okay. There you go. I just pasted the website in there. So if you guys want to click that link and get her very inspirational book. All right. Any last words, final words, closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts for everyone is to keep your head up. Don't focus on what's happening right now. Like I said, life gets better. Love yourself. Embrace your flaws. Make it look good. I got these scars and I'm making them look good. Make it look good. What you can't change about yourself, make it look good. Trust God and never give up. And never give up.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Couldn't say it better myself. Never give up. Embrace your beauty. Embrace your scars, whatever. Some people have little cellulites and they think, oh, it's unattractive. No, it's beauty spots. It's beauty spots. It's a part of you. Embrace it. I'll tell you what I embrace. I remember when I was growing up, I had a big ears. I mean, I still have a big ears, right? But growing up, I used to get always teased for having a big ears. I didn't even want to go to school because they would tease me because of my big ears. Until I realized, man, big ears is not as bad. I embraced it. In fact, I love my big ears. You guys can't see it because I'm looking there and I grew my hair so I could cover my ears, but I embrace my big ears. And someone told me that you got beautiful big ears. So I embraced it. I love it. Junior George with the big ears. That used to be me. But Barack Obama had big ears. Well, Barack Obama had big ears. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today. Thank you to Ebony for sharing her story. We're going to put the link there so everyone could check out the book again. Ebony, thanks again. On the behalf of all our production crew here at Team Ridealong for production, Master Control, Jacoby over there doing his thing. Our executive producer, Lois JJ, thank you so much for making sure that we have content like this. Very, very, very beautiful content. I appreciate you and all the hard work that you're doing. For our moderators, Kibbs and Deanne Fraser and Gail Charles, everyone in Team Ridealong, we say thank you guys so much. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Everyone, Lydia, everybody good? Everybody good? Yes, Charlotte. My ears covering it now. Tracy and on YouTube, thank you so much. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Grenadians, you asked for change, and we are bringing the change. Change is a we thing, but change requires a contribution from all of us. Remember, one cocoa fills the basket. Make a contribution to NDC's grassroots campaign for change today. Click the link below to make your contribution. Thank you.
My name is Junior George, founder and host of Ridealong Live, and I'm inviting you to become a paid subscriber to this platform. With your support of just $4.99 per month, you could do so much to help this platform grow and to help us help you and others around the world. We encourage you to click that link and become a supporter today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Wait is over. The time is now. The time is now. Get ready for mass. Get ready for mass. Get ready for mass. We are back. Ride Along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess we call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Ridealong live. I mean, yeah, it's the real deal.